Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in the world it is that you are. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayer's Live, page by page reading and commentary of the modern English version of the Bible. Before we get started, I will say that I have had a very interesting past 24 hours or so. I'm not going to go into why. But at this moment, it's kind of like the fabric of reality has opened up for me, and I do understand that there is a certain pattern to existence. I don't understand completely, of course, but I do see how everything does happen for a reason. And sometimes you really don't understand why you make certain choices, or you're kind of compelled to make certain choices, or why certain things happen, but then you suddenly have something happen in your life to where maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but you see how a past action or choice you made was integral to where you are at that very moment. That's how I feel right now. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year. A lot of pathways are being cleared for me to shift where I need to be. Not necessarily where I've wanted to be, but where I am kind of able to see why I do need to be in certain places and arenas. And without a doubt, next year is going to be quite the travel year for me, and I'm really looking forward to it. But at this moment, I feel kind of peaceful. I'm really grateful for people who are appreciative of me. Not necessarily for reasons that you would expect, but sometimes what you don't realize you need to be appreciated for, or that you want to be appreciated for, someone out of the blue reminds you of why you are worthy of being appreciated. So that's just something I felt like sharing. But anyway, today we're going to get into the book of Numbers, chapter 11 of the Bible, Modern English Version. Complaints in the desert. So let's see who's complaining in the desert. Now, when the people complained openly before the Lord heard, and his anger burned. Then the fire of the Lord burned among them and consumed the outskirts of the camp. And the people cried out to Moses, and Moses prayed to the Lord, and the fire was quenched. He called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burned among them. The mixed multitude that was among them lusted, and the children of Israel wept again and said, "Who will give us meat to eat? We remember the fish which we ate in Egypt for free, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our life is dried up. There is nothing at all except this manna before our eyes." The manna was as coriander seed, and it looked like bdellium. The people went about and gathered it, and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar, and boiled it in pots, and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was like the taste of cakes baked in oil. When the dew fell on the camp at night, the manna fell on it. Then Moses heard the people weep throughout their families, every man in the opening of his tent, and the anger of the Lord burned greatly. Moses was also displeased. Moses said to the Lord, "Why have you hurt your servant? And why have I not found favor in your eyes, that you lay the burden of all this people on me. Have I conceived all this people? Have I given them birth, that you should say to me, carry them in your bosom as a nurse bears the nursing child, to the land which you swore to their fathers? Where am I to get meat to give all these people? Wow. Oh, see, these are the parts of the Bible that I really enjoy because there's so much humanism in the words that are written. I mean, Moses has been through so much, and yet everything he's done for these people, after all of it, they're still ungrateful. Ooh, I kind of know that feeling. Probably not to such an extent, but I do get it. Um, all right, somebody in here doesn't like the Bible. Well, then leave. You don't have to like the Bible. It's not for everybody. All right, I'll just give you a favor. There, now you're banned. This is a Bible study, okay? And if you don't like the Bible, if you don't like Christianity, or if you're at least not open to the teachings of Christianity, it's not for you. Don't hang out. But I like this Numbers chapter 11. This is great because just the emotion. Moses has gone through so much at this point, and yet the people are complaining. I mean, I guess it's not enough that they've seen a divine event, an actual phenomenon in physicality. Basically, God has come down from above, is guiding them day and night. They even see the ship or the vehicle or whatever it is that the Lord is traveling in above their camp. I mean, I would love to see something like that in my lifetime, to where I know it's God and I'm like, wow, I'm actually seeing something divine here. This is amazing. But these people, they're not grateful. I guess it wasn't enough that Moses and his right hand man and his right hand man's sons, I'm talking about Aaron and his sons, created the Ark of the Covenant, which was basically a telecommunication device from them to God, to where they could finally leave Mount Sinai and, get on their way. It's never enough. Oh, I just know that feeling. Sometimes you do so much for people and you're like, wow, I've solved their problem, or I've given them this gift, but then are they ever happy? No. So at this point, Moses is just saying, like, I'm even in communication with you, God, and God, you're sending down manna from heaven, this nourishing substance, whatever that was at that time, but the people still aren't happy. They're even thinking back to their slavery times, wishing for what they considered to be free food, that in actuality they were working for, because what? They were slaves. But just goes to show how some people are. It's just never enough. It's never enough. This was a good day for me to read this, but let's continue. All right. So the people, they want meat. He doesn't know where he's going to get the meat from. All right. Where am I going to get meat to give all these people? For they weep to me, saying, give us meat that we may eat. And that rhymed. I am not able to bear all these people alone, because the burden is too heavy for me. If you do this to me, please kill me at once. If I have found favor in your eyes, and do not let me see my misery. So Moses has had it. He just said to God, all right, I've had it. Just go ahead and strike me down now, because it's never good enough. Poor Moses. Oh, I feel bad for him. All right, the 70 elders. Then the Lord said to Moses, gather to me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of these people, and officers over them, and bring them to the tent of meeting, that they may take a stand there with you. And I will come down, and I will speak with you there. And I will take the Spirit which is on you, and will put it on them. And they will bear the burden of the people with you, and you will not bear it by yourself. Well, that's nice. So God is telling Moses, okay, you got to find your kinsmen, you got to find your friends, and tell them what's going on, and let them know that it's not your fault. And that if people want to complain, they need to complain to them also, and not allow yourself to be the sole scapegoat when it comes to these people who think that they're too good to just have the manna. They want meat. Okay. And say to the people, consecrate yourselves for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat. For you have wept in the hearing of the Lord, saying, who will give us meat to eat? For it was better for us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you meat, and you shall eat. You shall eat not 1 day, or 2 days, or 5 days, or 10 days, or 20 days, but a whole month, until it comes out at your nostrils, and it will be nauseating to you, because you rejected the Lord who is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why did we come out of Egypt? Yes, I'm loving the book of Numbers, chapter 11. Wow, I really needed to read this today. Of all days. Good timing. Yeah, so God is saying, okay, I'm going to fix their asses. They want meat. Okay, I'm going to overload them with food. And then something's going to happen to where they're wondering, hey, why was I thinking back to the negative, toxic times of being in slavery within Egypt? Because that's what this comes down to. Ungrateful people who don't realize how hard it is to get certain things done to make their lives better in the long run. Since I've been doing this Bible reading, there's been parts of the Bible that I've gotten to so far that are, for the most part, common knowledge if you've been to church and, grown up in a fairly religious household. But there's some parts of the Bible that really should be more common knowledge just in our society when it comes to the stories and the themes and whatnot. And this is one of them. Don't forget this chapter. The book of Numbers, chapter 11. This is a good one. And Moses said, the people I am with number 600,000 foot soldiers. And you have said, I will give them meat that they may eat a whole month. Will the flocks and the herds be slaughtered for them to satisfy them? Or will all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to satisfy them? So Moses was wondering, where's all this food going to come from? And the Lord says to Moses, is the hand of the Lord shortened? Now you will see if my word will happen to you or not. Moses went out, and he spoke to the people the words of the Lord, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them around the tabernacle. And the Lord came down in a cloud and spoke to him. And it took the Spirit that was on him and gave it to the 70 elders. And when the Spirit rested on them, they prophesied, but did not do it again. But 2 men remained in the camp. The name of one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad. And the Spirit rested on them. They were among those listed, but they had not gone out to the tent, and so they prophesied in the camp. And a young man ran and told Moses and said, Eldad and Medad prophesy in the camp. Then Joshua, the son of Nun, the assistant of Moses from his youth, answered and said, my lord Moses forbid them. Moses said to him, are you jealous for my sake? or that all the people of the Lord were prophets, and that the Lord would put his spirit upon them. And Moses returned to the camp, he and the elders of Israel. The Lord sends quail. Now a wind from the Lord started up, and it swept quail from the sea and let them fall beside the camp, about a day's journey on this side and a day's journey on the other side around the camp, and about 2 cubits above the ground. And the people stayed up all that day, all night, and all the next day, and gathered the quail. Those who gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them out for themselves around the camp. While the meat was between their teeth, before it was chewed, the anger of the Lord burned against the people. And the Lord struck the people with a very great slaughter. And he called the name of that place Kibroth Hattaavah, because there they buried the people who had the craving. Ooh, mean God. I like mean God the best. The people journeyed from Kibroth Hattaavah to Hazeroth, and they camped at Hazeroth. So that's the book of Numbers, chapter 11. I guess the moral of that chapter is be grateful and be appreciative of everything that's happened in your life, because it all happens for a reason. And when you have enough and you're okay, you really do need to be grateful for that, and not get greedy and seek out more, because you might end up getting more, but it might not be what you think it is. So anyway, tomorrow we will go into the book of Numbers, chapter 12, and I'm sure that'll be interesting too to any of you out there who chose to listen today and take in some of these words from the Bible. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.